What's up? Jim here. Welcome back to J Street Moto. Welcome to the channel if it's your first time. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I just got back from a trip to Kentucky that David and his wife took me on for my birthday. We went out and toured a bunch of distilleries and ended the week at a Rock the Country music festival that Kid Rock, Nelly, Jason Aldean, and all them were putting on in Ashland, Kentucky. And I figured the way that I would do this video is I would go for a ride, talk about what we did, and drop in the videos at the appropriate point in this video. Damn, the girl's running good. Woo! But between when we got there on Tuesday and when we made our way to the concert on Saturday, we did a lot of fun shit. I'm not kidding you. And well, when all of it was, I got to preface this by saying, David and I are both big whiskey drinkers. Desi is as well. Night one. So we get there Tuesday night, and the hotel recommended, or I can't remember, I think Desi might have found it. This place called, dog's barking at me, Bourbon Bistro. It's right in downtown Louisville, Kentucky. I think it's on West Jefferson Street, if I recall correctly. That's the hotel. That's the street the hotel was on, and I'm pretty sure it was right up the street from the hotel. So, we're dropping a video right here from Bourbon Bistro. On this night, while we were there, and these guys had a fantastic, here's the deal, guys. Bourbon Bistro, if you're there, go eat there. The food is fan-fucking-tastic. Sorry. The food is fan-freaking-tastic. They've got an awesome whiskey and beer selection. There was nothing, and wine. There was nothing about that restaurant that disappointed in any way, shape, or form. While we were there, we got to meet Jason. Jason is the guy behind a distillery called Buzzard's Roost Distillery. And we met him. So the first night we were there, we met the head of a distillery. And of course, we're talking to him, and they had his product there, and he was kind enough to let us sample it and taste it. And we actually bought bottles of his whiskey while we were at the restaurant. And keep that in mind, too, if you ever travel to Kentucky, especially Louisville or Lexington, I would ask the bar when you're in there if they can sell you a bottle, because a lot of the places can. So it might save you a trip to the liquor store or a hunt. You know, if you go to the liquor store and you're like, shit, I'm trying to find this one, and they're like, yeah, we don't have that thing. I'm sorry, dude. Wednesday morning, we wake up bright and early. Our first distillery is Bardstown, and I'll drop a video in of the outside of it here. We really didn't do anything at Bardstown because when we got there it was 9 o'clock in the morning. We weren't signed up for any tours or anything like that, and at that time of the morning, after the night we had before, David and I were both kind of like, yeah, I don't think I need a drink yet. So we just kind of walked around the property. I'll drop the video in so you can see it. Next one we went to, and the first one we drank at, was Lux Row. We went there next and tasted some of their products. We did a tasting there. We did not do a tour. We only did a tour at 3 of all the distilleries we went to. Because, I mean, the reality is once you've seen one distillery, you kind of seen them all. They're all going to do it one of two ways. And fortunately for us, fortunately for me, Desi put some craft distilleries on the agenda for this week, which let me see kind of the smaller version of an operation instead of the large version of an operation. That was kind of cool. Third stop that day was Heaven Hill. Those of you that don't know, Heaven Hill makes larceny. Bourbon, specifically. I'm not going to go that way. I think we're going to take a little longer ride, and we're going to go a different way. Damn, I love this exhaust. We went to Heaven Hill. At Heaven Hill, we had an experience booked. So if you're planning a trip to Kentucky and you're going to, go tour around distilleries and stuff, do some investigation, because distilleries do different things. They don't just do tours. They do different kinds of experiences. They do tastings if you don't want to do a tour. Hell, you can just go in and buy their shit if you want. There's a lot of different options. So, do your research. Do your homework before you take the trip. So in Heaven Hill, we were having a small batch tasting, basically. A small batch tasting at Heaven Hill. What's up, dude? How you doing? We were doing a small batch tasting, and at the end of the tasting, you got to pick one of the four that, if you want to, you got to pick one of the four things you just tasted and bottle, label, and seal it up yourself, which was really freaking cool. I had never bottled a bottle of whiskey in my life. So we went to Heaven Hill and did that experience. And Larceny is one that I kind of enjoy. I really do. I enjoy the regular stuff, but I really, really like the Larceny Full Proof. And that's what we tasted while we were in the room, so that's why I ended up filling up for myself. So Maker's Mark was next. That was a pretty cool. I will say this, out of all of the distilleries we visited, my two favorite properties were Maker's Mark and Four Roses. They were my two favorite properties. They were just absolutely picturesque. They really were. Even with all the rick houses around, they were picturesque. The next place we went to was Maker's Mark. And at Maker's Mark, we got to dip. Well, I picked the wrong bottle to buy. Well, the one that I wanted from Maker's Mark was not the bottle that I could dip myself. So I was unable to dip my bottle and have it engraved. Desi and David were able to do theirs, because they picked whiskeys that they were able to dip. So that is one of the experiences you can do just walking into the gift shop at Maker's Mark. We swung by Rabbit Hole and went to Buzzard's Roost Distillery, met with Jason again, who gave us a private tour, showed us around, let us taste things again. I gotta tell you guys, that product that they make out of there, very good. It is extremely well made, and I like the flavor. For me, and I honestly, after tasting everything they kind of have to offer, I think they've got something that fits everyone's flavor profile. So we went back to Buzzard's Roost, hung out with Jason for a little while, had a couple drinks, talked to him. He recommended a restaurant around the corner from the distillery called Burgers and Mussels. That's where we went for dinner. Really good dinner. I'm not kidding. And an even better bourbon selection. This place had a pretty good bourbon selection. Then we went back to our hotel, which, by the way, the hotel we were staying at in Louisville had a bar that was, holy crap. It was an exceptional selection for any bar, much less a hotel bar. But for any bar, it was an exceptional collection. Next day we got up and we rolled out to, I don't know what the first distillery we went to was, but I will write it up here and, when I put the video in. Today's big thing, the Thursday big thing, was going to be going to Woodford Reserve and touring there, because we had an appointment to take part in a cocktail making class. Specifically, we learned how to make a regular mint julep, and they taught us how to make a chocolate mint julep. Gotta tell you, the chocolate one was freaking fantastic. The regular one was good too. And I obviously had never had a real mint julep until I took this class, because I really didn't like mint julep. So think like, when you go in a place and they're selling margaritas out of Slurpee machines, that's kind of how I've had my mint juleps in the past. This one was a real mint julep. So, it was good. And they let us keep everything we used to make it, which was even cooler. After Woodford, we went to lunch, and we went to this place called Stave. Very, very, very cool, just this little unassuming, roadhouse on the side of the road that was a bar and restaurant. And, I mean, it was small. But the food was amazing, and the bourbon selection they had, you'll see it right here, freaking insane. So when we went back to Louisville, we went to Old Forester, did a tasting there of their, I did their small batch select. David did theirs, maybe the single barrel select. I don't know. I did one of them that was the higher proof option. David did one that was an even higher proof option than that. It was just a flight. We didn't even do a tasting. It was just a flight of 3 bourbons. Check them out. We went to Mitchell's, which is one of my faves. Could not do a tasting at Michter's because they were one of those places that didn't have a license, so you had to be signed up for a tasting in order to do one. They didn't have a bar that you could just go and get stuff in. We left there, and because on the way to, I think it was Michter's, either Michter's or Old Forester. On the way to those distilleries, while we were walking there was this place called the One Down Bar. Basically, it was below street level. I'll show it to you here. And went through there, or we went there, had a cocktail, a couple of drinks, and ordered some chips and salsa. Got up Friday morning, started making our way to Lexington. Louisville is very far west relative to the place we needed to be for the concert, so we had to start making our way back east. Went to Lexington, visited a couple of distilleries there. We went to Bluegrass Distillery. This is a craft distillery, meaning they make extremely limited volumes. Basically, they are a very small-scale operation. They're getting ready to be a lot bigger, and they should be, because their product is exceptional. If they're able to scale it up successfully, which I'm pretty sure they're going to be able to, they're going to be a force to contend with, because they really make a good bourbon. I got their toasted oak double barrel, single barrel, that's added to a second barrel. That barrel has been toasted so that it can have a different flavor profile. I got that one, and it was very, very good. After lunch, we went to Town Branch Distillery and Lexington Brewing Company. What was cool about Town Branch and the Lexington Brewing Company was last year, in January, we had gone to Ireland for a weekend to see the Dropkick Murphys in concert. So we had toured a lot of Irish whiskey distilleries. One of the ones we had toured is Pierce Lyons. The founder of Pierce Lyons Distillery in Ireland came over to the United States because he had a PhD in chemistry. The guy was smart. Came over to the United States in the 70s during the gas crisis to help gas manufacturers in the U.S. figure out a way to incorporate methanol, which is the bad stuff that happens when you distill a spirit, how to incorporate that into gasoline to stretch gasoline farther and hopefully help with the cost of the gas. But we had visited his distillery, which is in a church over in Dublin. Yeah, you heard me right. It's a distillery and a church. Really freaking cool. But it was even cooler to go to this place and visit the distillery here in the States after we had visited the distillery in Ireland. After that one, we went to Barrel House. Barrel House was cool. They make primarily moonshine and rum. They do distill vodka there as well. and they make bourbon. It was it was a very small operation. For certain, it was smaller than Bluegrass in terms of how many barrels they could produce at a time, based on the setup they had for their stills and such. They were a smaller operation. From there, we went over to James E. Pepper Distillery and did a little tasting there as well. We did a tasting at Barrel House. Got in early Friday night. We really weren't out that late Friday. Went to bed because we were getting up early Saturday morning and starting to make our way to Ashland, Kentucky for the Rock the Country music festival that was being put on by, the big headliners were Kid Rock, Jason Aldean, Nelly, Brantley Gilbert. Those were the big headliners. They had other names there too. I think the night we went on Saturday night, we saw 7 bands. I can remember 6 of the names. I didn't get the first name, so forgive me. But it was fantastic. The night we saw it, it was estimated there were about 33,000 people at this outdoor kind of venue in the middle of nowhere. And when I say in the middle of nowhere, this place was in the middle of nowhere, guys. Seriously. My phone was in SOS mode most of the time because we were in the middle of damn nowhere. And it was about a 1.5 2-mile walk to the concert from where we parked. And we had VIP passes. So, if that says anything. It was a big crowd. It was a big venue. I'll throw videos up for it around here. When you see the videos of me looking around like the area, you see the American flags. There were 890 American flags put up by the venue, by the production group for this event. That's just insane. And it was really freaking cool. As a veteran, I really appreciated it. I really did. This guy right here is Cody. He was the dude sitting next to me in the VIP section. It was an outstanding fucking birthday. I could not have asked for a better one. Thanks to everyone I met along this trip. If I ran into you and you're watching this, I handed my card out at the concert. You're watching this and I met you, I fist pounded you, I put you on video or whatever, know that you made my birthday special. I'm going to sign off for now. If you like what I'm doing, like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so you don't miss anything and share it with your friends. Always ride safe.
Yeah, ready? 1, 2, 3, shoot. Ah. Asshole.
Really? Peace out, bitches!